Fun fact about me, and you may not know this, but I'm a big man. I'm 17, and I got a lot of plans for 18. Step 1 is to drink, and then step 2 is to drive. In that order, because turning 18 is like go big or go home. But there's another thing that you have to do whenever you're 18 to 24, and that's get your wisdom teeth removed. You know, you have like 28 teeth in your mouth. There's just 4 extra ones that you don't need, and you have to get them surgically removed. But I got a couple years until then, I thought. But whenever I was 16, turns out I went to the dentist. They told me, no, we got to get this out soon, which was kind of lame, but I kind of just ignored them. You know, I was just a busy guy. I had things to do, videos to record. Wow, I'm such a loser. But I just couldn't do it until this summer, whenever mother told me that regardless we'd be doing it in, I believe it was June. And you know, this kind of freaked me out for a number of reasons. Not only are they going to be drilling into my mouth and ripping shit out, but I've also seen videos of people on the aesthetic, and people are just like so whacked out crazy. I remember I was talking to Alapo about it, and he said it would make great content. Drugs makes Minecraft 100% funnier would go so hard. But there was really overall nothing I could do. Oh! But eventually the day came and there was nothing I could do about it. The morning of, I got up really early and we headed to the dentist. We sat there for about 2 hours. It was a very long time. I remember it was What's New Scooby-Doo playing. It was an episode where they were trying to catch like a dinosaur or something. And so they needed somebody to go out for bait. And they said, hey, Shaggy Scooby, do you want to go out and risk your lives? And they said no. And they said, oh, would you do it for like industrial-sized Scooby snack? It was like a box taller than all of them. Who sells those, and why are Shaggy and Scooby just prepared to die for them? And then I accepted death as they called my name. And full disclosure, before this, I was told I wouldn't remember everything. I even like opened my notes app and wrote down industrial-sized Scooby snack just so I would remember that. But I do remember everything that happened. Unfortunately, they call me to the x-ray room, and you know, I take the x-ray of my teeth, pretty standard dentist stuff. And then they bring me to the operating room and take my blood pressure. And this whole time, I'm panicking. I remember there was like 2 dentists in my room who were not at all going to be performing on me, so I have no idea why they were in there. But they were talking about something. They were like, oh, did you see the latest Tubbo subathon? They look over at me. They're like, it's all right. It's just taking your blood pressure. Everything's fine. Yeah, before they strap me to a table and rip shit out of my mouth. It was insane. And so eventually they put over the gas mask from me. They go, oh yeah, this is kind of like QSMP from Tubbo. And I stay calm, and I try to think about Tubbo while waiting for the doctor. His beautiful eyes, his beautiful smile, and eventually he walks in. The doctor, not Tubbo. And once he comes in, he starts sticking in things in my mouth that are supposed to remove all the feeling. But there's a problem. And full disclosure, I have never fallen unconscious or passed out in my life, besides, you know, to go to sleep. But at this point, I feel myself slipping. And I tell them, or at least I try because of the amount of things being stuck into my mouth. But eventually the guy finishes numbing them off. And for the record, this guy he liked to commentate. He was the next Tubbo. And, you know, I think that's fine for people. You know, as a professional YouTuber, that's like something I'm familiar with. But I think the worst possible time to do it would probably be to your surgeon while they are sitting on a table being operated on. But regardless, this guy goes, well, you're all numbed up. And I shit you not, he looks at me and says, well, you're all numbed up. Hopefully you don't feel this next part. And my eyes widen in fear, because apparently something's coming now. But he sees my eyes widen in fear, and he's like, oh no, don't worry, you shouldn't feel it. Oh, that makes me feel real good right now. But eventually we get through it. And overall, this took like an hour. And halfway through it, you know, they got all my top teeth out, but the bottom teeth were seemingly more difficult to get out, or at least that's what they were letting on. The doctor goes, oh yeah, these are stuck, just like that Tubbo video where like Tubbo, guys, I'm gonna be real, I'm not a Tubbo viewer, I have no idea what I'm talking about. But at this point, it's been long enough where the feeling is starting to come up, which is not normal. So I tell them that. They numb me up a little more, and while they're doing this, the lovely doctor, who we all know, Dr. Frank, I'll call him. Dr. Frank is a lovely man. You know, he loves his commentating. He's just speaking out loud. It's like a random thoughts animation. He goes, as he's numbing me up, he goes, oh, you know, a lot of patients die during a surgery. Could you imagine? And I shit you not, he says this. Could you imagine a surgery where both the patient and the doctor dies? And I'm just like, and I go, what? And in this moment, I didn't think I was going to die, but I was now very much under that impression based on the way this dude was talking. And he goes, oh, no, not that was relevant to this surgery. And he just keeps working. And I'm just like sat there and I go, because there's nothing I can do at this point. And I just lay there, just think Tubbo, just think Tubbo, just think Tubbo, just think Tubbo. And soon they're finishing up my mouth. I don't really know what they were doing, but it felt like they were flossing my teeth, which it's a normal dentist thing. So I was just kind of relaxing that they weren't jabbing me anymore. Or at least so I thought. Because the doctor goes, oh yeah, you're almost done. We just, we accidentally cut something that we shouldn't have, and we have to stitch it back. And I'm just there like, wait, what? Like, don't tell me that. I'd rather just not know. He eventually finishes, and I again feel like I'm going to pass out. It doesn't really matter now, but I'm able to get through it. And he explains to me a load of new rules I have to follow for the next 1 to 3 weeks. Make sure to put these pads in your mouth. Spray the holes with salt water. Make sure to drink something after this with a lot of calories. I bought all his merch. No hard or hot no grains or particles like rice. And then he goes, any questions? And I go, yeah. Why do they have industrial-sized Scooby snack? At least I try to, because I have loads of pads in my mouth to stop the bleeding and I can't talk. But after finishing that up, I go to the store. There's not really many things I can eat. The main suggestions for situations like these are 2 things. One is like applesauce, and then the other is pudding. These are very sweet options, and I'm not a very sweet-oriented guy. So I wanted a savory option, and I just went with mashed potatoes. Like, you can't really go wrong. But I really only ate those mashed potatoes like twice because the second time they made me feel sick, so I stopped eating them, and to this day they're still in my kitchen. I do remember day 1, I got home, I was just in pain and couldn't do anything, so I just like watched a rec rap video laying on my bed. Every morning I sprayed my mouth with salt water, ate goopy foods, and also couldn't have straws. It feels kind of weird even today to come back to straws, but I was able to get through it, and it was kind of lame. After a few days I was wanting to come back to making videos though, and the first video I started working on was the video where I rant about brands. This one was kind of harder because it took so many takes, but after all that, getting the wisdom teeth kind of sucked. I think the worst part out of all of them was probably like the recovery time. It was awful. I couldn't eat like anything. That's the story of how I got my wisdom tooth. If you enjoyed, just subscribe. Show me the support. Later. But after finishing that up, I go to the store. Yellow has just been bowing us the entire time. You! How can you deflect my fireball with your stupid bow and arrow? I hate you. I hope you die in real life. That was a joke. I really didn't mean it. You are annoying, and nobody talks to you. Not even your own mother. She blocked you on Facebook, and it's really sad. You are pathetic. I hope you find someone who loves you. Teammate, help me. Everyone's teaming on us despite us doing nothing. Where was I in the story? I completely got into it. Hang on.